Jayson Tatum has done it once again. For the third straight year, he is on the Kia All-NBA first team. And after everybody in the fan base and all around Twitter was saying that Jalen Brunson could pass him, there's no way that the number one star on the best team in the NBA is going to not make that first team. He did it for us, and we are absolutely ecstatic. We're going to be diving in and looking at that, and also looking at Jaylen Brown getting snubbed from the third team as well. Plus, update with Kristaps Porzingis on his injury. All of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. Before we dive in on all of this news, around 63% of you guys who watch our videos are not subscribed, so I would appreciate it if you guys hit that subscribe button down below as we try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the playoffs. And tomorrow we'll be live once again for Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Without further ado, though, let's dive into the video at hand. Make sure to grab a snack, as it's going to be a jam-packed episode. And finally, he gets his respect. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Jayson Tatum, like we mentioned in the introduction, was blessed with being granted on the All-NBA first team. If we want to look at the NBA communications, we can see TNT, he was the last name that was announced, but Giannis, Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, and Jayson Tatum, all on that NBA first team. And that's absolutely ecstatic for Boston Celtics fans. Like I mentioned, the whole narrative on Twitter with social media was that Brunson could possibly beat out Jayson Tatum. And even though Brunson had a great second half of the season, Jayson Tatum was fantastic throughout the entire season on both sides of the ball and led the Boston Celtics. Yes, it's a team effort, but is the best player on this team. A 64-win Boston Celtics squad that had a complete control of the Eastern Conference. He is for sure a lock for that All-NBA first team, and I'm glad that that was recognized. If we want to look at the voting, we can see that he was obviously the person that came in last place for the voting here for the first team, but he clearly edged out Jalen Brunson, 427 to around 300 votes. If you look down, you can see we don't have Jaylen Brown. Unfortunately, he did not make it. As we can see, he got a total of 50 votes, whereas Devin Booker, the last person who was voted on the All-NBA third team, got 70. Ultimately, I am a little bit shocked that a guy in Jaylen Brown did not receive it. He was very, very good for the Boston Celtics, made All-NBA second team last year, and even though there were some good rising stars in the NBA this season, Jaylen Brown had an even better season than he did last year, basically capitalizing and doing everything better in stats from point-wise and averages, rebounds, assists, shooting percentage, all of that, and defensively stepped up tremendously, especially with this squad making key additions by adding Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, key difference makers that are going to, take away from some value on the offensive and defensive side. He even stepped up and outperformed himself last year. You have to value that and give it some respect. One question mark that I really have with these teams, and me and my friend was texting about it back and forth, was Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard, you guys look, made the All-NBA second team, and yes, he has great name value. He's a great player for the Los Angeles Clippers, had a great season as their number one star player, but in my honest opinion, I think Jaylen Brown could have beaten out Kawhi Leonard. He was healthier than Kawhi Leonard and probably put up around this same stats as Kawhi Leonard as well. So that was a little bit of a question mark that I had. Let us know what you think down below in the comment section. What you guys think about, obviously, this whole Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, making this. Jaylen Brown obviously getting snubbed, but Jayson Tatum making the All-NBA first team. And like I mentioned in the introduction, 3 straight seasons on All-NBA first team for Jayson Tatum. It's absolutely criminal, the disrespect that we've seen with the Boston Celtics in the last 24 hours following this Indiana Pacers game. And with Jayson Tatum saying with Kendrick Perkins and ESPN, I know that everybody's seen it, I've been seeing it, it's absolutely ridiculous. They expect the Boston Celtics to come out and completely dominate, win by 70 points, but then they're going to say, oh, it's too easy of a cakewalk for them. I don't know what the media wants. I don't necessarily know what they want to see, but Jayson Tatum is proving to be that star and big-time player for the Boston Celtics here. Let's look at his stats for this season. As you can see, 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists on average, with shooting 47% from the field, 37.8% or 37.6% from 3, and 83% from the free throw. Absolutely fantastic. All of those numbers, besides the free throw, are up, which is crazy to see. He's averaging 4 more points with a more stacked roster, with additions of Kristaps Porzingis and Jrue Holiday. I know Kristaps Porzingis is out and was out for some parts of the seasons, but he was a major contribution for this Celtics team. And Jayson Tatum is still outperforming himself from last year with better teammates. Absolutely fantastic. You love to see it. Ultimately, in my eyes, Jayson Tatum 100 undoubtedly deserved this. I was going to be freaking out if you guys missed my, Derrick White video. I was talking about he got robbed by making all defensive second team after, having more blocks than Giannis Antetokounmpo in the NBA. Absolutely crazy, averaging a block and a steal. I dove in and talked all about that. If you missed that video, go check that out. If Jayson Tatum did not get picked for All-NBA first team, if Jalen Brunson got up there, this would have been a completely different video. I'm ecstatic. I'm happy. People are recognizing what Jayson Tatum is doing. But I want to talk about something about this team because Jake Eisenberg, who works for Celtics Blog and does the First to the Floor podcast, I want to say shout out to him. They do a fantastic job over there. But he brought up this great tweet that I saw talking about the Celtics' historical season. So they had a 64-win season, one of the best that we've seen with net rating. But they had 1 All-NBA first-team player, 2 All-Defensive second teams, and in the 3rd place for Coach of the Year. That's it. That's it. But everybody wants to call us a super team. Everybody wants to say that we're too stacked. They want to say on ESPN today, Jaylen over Jayson, is he more clutch? Like, guys, please, just watch, see what happens. This team is not a super team. We clearly are not if you're going to be voting other people over our guys. The disrespect is absolutely crazy. The narratives on this team is absolutely bonkers. It just drives me wild. If we want to look and see at Jayson Tatum's accomplishments, though, recognizing Jayson Tatum for his fantastic job. 3-time All-NBA first team, 3 years in a row. Let's not forget that. Eastern Conference MVP, fastest to 10K in Celtics franchise history in points, most points in a Game 7 all-time with 51, 4 Eastern Conference Finals, and 1 NBA Finals appearance, an All-Star Game MVP, and most points in the All-Star Game, 5 NBA All-Star, 6 All-NBA appearances, first-team All-Rookie, and a gold medalist. Just absolutely crazy stats to see from a guy that is severely underrated. A guy who's clearly criticized on a bunch of things for his shooting, all that type of stuff. He can play defense, he can get rebounds, he can do all those other intangibles to help the Celtics win. He doesn't need to drop 40 or 50 like whatever Perk wants him to do. Absolutely bonkers, crazy to see. Let me know what you guys think down below. Absolutely just wild stuff that we've been seeing around Jayson Tatum, but I'm absolutely ecstatic, happy that he got his flowers, and I think it is well deserved. The next part that we're going to be diving into is a little bit of a Kristaps Porzingis update. Like I mentioned, we saw Adrian Wojnarowski kind of give a little bit of this, and I broke it down in the live streams if you guys were there. But before the start of Game 1, he was sitting there on ESPN like 30 minutes before talking, and he brought out a story talking about Kristaps Porzingis' looming return for the Celtics could possibly be as soon as Game 4 for the Eastern Conference. So I know that you probably have already seen this update. You guys probably already know about that. So we're not going to really go over that major update. He was ruled out for Game 1. He was also ruled out for Game 2 tomorrow. So no Kristaps Porzingis for Game 2. Xavier Tillman was upgraded to questionable with personal reasons. Obviously, we're not going to rush him back. We want to wish him the best with, obviously, the passing of his father. But we have to, take that with ease. But we want Kristaps Porzingis to be healthy, back, ready to go, and be ready to play with this squad. And honestly, I know that a lot of Celtics fans were thinking if the Celtics go up 3-0, do you want to bring Kristaps Porzingis back? In my opinion, I think they should. I think that Kristaps Porzingis is going to need a little bit of a tune-up, need a little bit of a work to get back into rhythm and help out this squad. Obviously, going up against teams like Dallas, they have Daniel Gafford, Derrick Lively, PJ Washington. He's going to have to be a little bit of physical. And then go up against the Timberwolves if that's a possible matchup. Nasri, Karl-Anthony Towns, Jay McDaniels, Rudy Gobert. They're a very physical team. And the Celtics and Timberwolves have had some great clashes through the regular season. Both games going to overtime. So if they do match up with that Timberwolves squad, they're desperately going to need Kristaps Porzingis. I want him to be healthy. I want him to be ready to go. But I would love to see him come back in this Pacers series to get some flow going, to get into some rhythm, and really get going with this team and get gelling back with this squad, with practice, but also with some game time before the NBA Finals. Let me know what you guys think down below of that as well. And lastly, before we head out, we have to get to the comment of the day. As you guys know, like I keep harping in the video, drop down your comments. I love reading them, love diving into them, and then you could be picked and be the lucky person for comment of the day. But today's comment of the day goes to Billy, talking about the post-game video last night, saying that the Celtics had 13 turnovers. Got to be better with that. Indiana's hungry and young. You can never let up against them. I'm just happy that they won at home to give the paying fans their money's worth. Billy, I am 100% agreeing with you. I was speaking on the live stream The Celtics, 3 main caveats that they need to work to get successful basketball wins in the postseason. Some errors that we kind of saw in the regular season were rebounding, specifically offensive rebounding. They were really good defensive rebounding, but offensively, not the greatest. Turnovers and free throw percentage. Unfortunately for the Boston Celtics, last night they kind of ran into some troubles with that. Rebounding, they kind of cleaned it up towards the end of the game, but they did lose by that rebound category. And every game that they've won in the postseason, besides last night's Game 1 victory versus the Pacers, they had dominated in winning that rebound category. They also didn't have the greatest free throws, but in the clutch, they did hit their free throws when it did matter and did have an abundance of more free throws compared to the Indiana Pacers, which was huge. And the turnovers, like Billy mentioned, was a clear issue. Indiana, very scrappy, but the Celtics also had plenty of turnovers on their own. So again, with this Indiana team, I think it's going to be a physical series. It's going to be a very fast-paced series, and the Celtics are going to need to be able to control that basketball, get into rhythm, and really understand how to play with each other, working each other around the perimeter, really getting everything set up so that they can have the best successful team basketball like we saw in last night's Game 1, because truly, that was perfect team basketball and what I love to see as a Celtics fan. Jayson Tatum, you don't need to go score 40, 50 points. We've seen that in past years, and it had not worked. If you did not do that, the game would fall apart. Just play the team basketball, win the right way, guys. Have 3 guys that can really dominate on the offensive side on every single night, and I truly trust in this Celtics squad. Like I mentioned, I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode here on Celtics Digest, where we broke down Jayson Tatum getting that All-NBA first team, and we broke down, obviously, Jaylen Brown not making All-NBA third team, not the greatest, and then also Kristaps Porzingis injury update. Hope to catch you all in the live stream tomorrow for Game 2 versus the Indiana Pacers. We will be live here once again. Having a great time. Hope to catch you all there. Once again, peace out. Have a great rest of your night, and go Boston Celtics.